Hello and welcome to the Morningstar series Ask the Expert. I'm Emma Wall and I'm joined today by Parminder Dhothar from Phoenix Group. Hi Parminder.
Hi there.
So we're here today to talk about pension scams. The pensions freedoms that we've all been granted from the last budget are fantastic, but they do come with risks, don't they? You are privy to some information which showed that actually fraudsters are out there trying to trick people into getting hold of this cash that they now can.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we've seen pensions liberation or pension scams, as we kind of now perceive it, really escalate from about 2013 onwards. And I think with the new pension freedoms that came into force in April, that's given another angle for these fraudsters to kind of target.
And what are we talking about here? Because we do get some letters through about people who have made ill-advised or ill-informed investment decisions, such as I've put my entire pension pot into a vineyard in Spain, they promised me 8% and actually capital loss. Is it that or is it more complex fraud?
We're seeing a variety of frauds. We are seeing that kind of activity where it's almost an investment scam, a promise of guaranteed returns, of bonus payments, and they could be in all sorts of different investments, wines, overseas property, storage pods, car park spaces. But we're also seeing outright theft where transfers are being made and the money and the company behind the transfer, seemingly legitimate, are actually disappearing. And
I suppose that's the difficult thing, isn't it? Because as an investor, the former is illegal, but the former is legal, but the latter is illegal, and it's sort of sorting out what's an ill-informed decision, but a legal investment, and what's actually fraud.
Some of these investments might seemingly be legal, but actually when you look at underneath them, they're not. They're just very well marketed to customers, and as you said, it's very hard sometimes to distinguish the difference. Some of the indicators might be that have received an unsolicited call or a leaflet through the post or somebody knocking on your door, and that isn't how a legitimate company selling an investment would approach you.
And what sort of sums are we talking about here? Is it hundreds, is it thousands, is it
So as an organisation, the Phoenix Group, since we've undertaken this activity, are looking at about 26 million that we've prevented. I think across the industry in the past 5 years, it's estimated to be £1 billion. Now that's just pension scams. If you look at investment scams, which are slightly different, I think the detected number for investment scams in 2014 was about 1.73 billion, so it's a big industry.
And what sort of sums are people being liberated?
So the average amounts we're seeing in terms of our victim profiles are small pots of money, between about £15,000 to £20,000. We have seen cases where the pots are a lot larger, but I think seemingly with the new pension freedoms, those being attracted to cashing in are those that have got smaller pots of money and are not necessarily going to get advice, regulated advice, which might help them in the decision making.
And of course, this is all of their pot. It may see £15,000 might be small compared to other pension pots, but if that's all your pension savings, it's devastating.
It definitely is, and I mean, there's a number of stories that have come out in the media and that we've come across with our customers where they're really worried about their future, and they're often desperate at times, which is kind of what drives us to kind of push to help prevent these frauds from occurring in the first place.
So what can people do? I mean, those that have fallen victim obviously need professional help, but those who want to be aware of the dangers out there and protect themselves.
As mentioned earlier, unsolicited contact, whether that's text message, phone calls, or somebody on your door offering a free pension review or a loophole, they're things to be really concerned about. That isn't how a professional company would target or approach you in terms of the normal business activities. Pressuring you into making a decision, overseas or investments that seem a bit fancy, if that's the right word, guaranteed returns.
That word guarantee is key, isn't it? Because the only guaranteed investment product out there actually is an annuity.
It is, yeah. Or if you put your money into an ISA, for example, then you'd be guaranteed interest on that. But these kind of investments, there is no thing that I've come across where you can guarantee that income back. And I think little intricacies we've seen where couriers, for example, have been sent around to collect paperwork, which is kind of not what would occur within these kinds of transactions. They're the things to be really aware of.
Yeah, a legitimate bank would ask you to present them in person so they can authorise them.
Exactly, and asking for identification paperwork up front, which they wouldn't necessarily need for that transaction. And the worry for us in those cases is that that information could be used to commit other types of fraud, such as ID theft.
And what should people do if one of these flags has been raised, they've been approached by someone that they don't seem right? What's the next course of action?
I think getting in touch with your pension provider to warn them so they can put a flag on your policy to prevent anybody pretending to be you to access it, contacting Action Fraud and reporting your suspicions. And also you could contact TPAS, so the Pensions Advisory Service, who might be able to give you support. And pensions-wise, of course, that's a new service that was set up by the government after the freedoms come into place to kind of give you guidance as to what your options are. So that's obviously a great place to go to as well.
Parminder, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
This is Emma Wolf from Morningstar. Thank you for watching.